everyone. We had an amazing cruise on Celebrity Reflection. So today we thought we would share with you the top surprises that made this cruise extra special.
I do think this may have been one of the best cruises that we've ever been on.
Hi, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Marshall.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. We're really enjoying getting all of your comments and feedback, so thank you very much.
If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and remember to like and comment. It helps the channel, helps us, and builds a stronger community.
Okay, so let's jump in.
Let's do it.
So the first thing we notice is right from the start, the boarding process just seemed very smooth. I don't know if that was the port staff or the celebrity organization, I don't know, but it was a very stress-free process.
Yes, I thought that the people, they were smiling, they were happy, you really felt welcomed on board. And then when we got on board, immediately you could tell that this ship was well cared for. It was spacious, the hallways clean, bright, and again, smiling faces wherever we turned.
And the walkways were very wide too. So I liked that too, instead of having that cramped feeling, especially when you're first getting on board and trying to find your way around. I liked having the nice walk wide areas for walking.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because this ship had been refurbished, I think, in 2019, but it's not one of the newest ships, yet it laid itself out really well and welcoming.
Now, this next one is actually kind of random, but I was definitely surprised. There was one night we were in the theater and I needed to use a public restroom, which I usually don't love to do, but we didn't. Okay. So I go in there and I said, oh, and I pulled out my phone and I had to film this because there were real towels in the public bathroom, which it's a small thing, but it felt like such a special upgrade from the paper towels. So I know it's random, but.
No, it's not random because I think the word I would use is it was an elevated experience. And we really weren't expecting how these little things made a difference. And we can flip over to the dining room experience. And this isn't even talking about the food. We noticed there were no carts whizzing by any of the tables. The wait staff brought all the food out from the back on large trays. Again, something small, but you could tell the difference. And with that, even going to their buffet, the plates were real plates. They weren't the plastic plates. Again, the word is elevated.
Speaking of personal touches, the captain was a surprise. He actually made several appearances. He was in the main theater. He came out a couple times at different events. And the biggest surprise of all was he was actually pretty funny. So I don't know, it just added a warm and welcoming vibe, and you felt like you knew the navigator on board, you know?
We've been on ships where sometimes you see a lot of the captain and sometimes you don't. Mm. But it felt like with Celebrity on this ship, and I've heard on other ships, the captain is an integral part of the festivities, and it really bore true here. Now, I also want to mention that Kate, the cruise director, kind of had that same vibe where she was very welcoming. It was welcome to the Celebrity family. So again, it's hit or miss on some of the other cruises. Mm-hmm. This was just a hit with the dynamic duo.
Yeah, I agree.
Now focusing back on the ship and some highlights, some surprises. I think it was, for me, I think for us, there were a number of cozy places that you could go almost on every deck. And I've always loved ships that have maintained that vibe.
Yeah, I thought it was great because a lot of ships do have a library, but in addition to a library, this place also had like the hideaway, which was great because they had so many electrical outlets. It was a great place to work, or if you just wanted to read a book or do whatever people do on a cruise ship, there was a game room. the Sunset Bar, and then there was also our personal favorite, the Cafe El Bacchio.
Yeah, it doesn't even end there. On the ship, there was a martini bar, and it took us a couple days when we got closer, and we're like, holy cow, that bar is frozen. And even there were 2 bars there that were just iced over. So again, surprises abound as you go to these different areas. They did a great job of just raising the bar experience, the cafe experience. I'm getting excited because just thinking about it, I'm like, we got to book another one.
Go.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Cafe El Bacchio, if you get the chance to order an iced tea there, trust us, do it, because it is not your typical glass of iced tea that you get. The way it's served is an experience.
Talking about experience, let's go to the front of the ship where the gym is located. One of the most spacious areas, big plus. Talk about towels. It had iced towels, big plus, and flavored water. 3 pluses for a gym experience. Now, we're talking a lot of pluses as surprises. An interesting surprise, which wasn't a plus, is they did have an outside deck in front of the gym. Beautiful view overlooking the front of the ship, but no place to sit. And it's not like I ever saw them use it as an area for exercises or anything like that. It just sat there empty without any chairs. And I think we would have taken advantage of it if they had some place to sit.
Now, let's talk about the shows.
Ooh.
What an experience that was. The shows were fantastic. There was excellent singing, excellent dancing, but in addition, there was actual acting involved. A lot of times you go to these shows and it's singing and it's dancing, but this actually had a storyline and great acting, great singing, great dancing. I thought it was fantastic.
Yes, now they had headliners, but what I was surprised about is of that 8 nights that we were on board, 4 of those nights were the actual production cast doing something. 3 shows and then a musical review, all with that cast. So you felt like you began to get to know them.
Yes.
And talk about knowing them, they did something after every one of those productions, which was that they had members of the cast dancing and singing on each exit to talk to you as you left.
You made it sound like they were dancing and singing at the exits.
No, they were talking, but actually that would have been fun. I could see us joining in. Just saying. I wish we could have filled that out on the review.
Yeah, you started saying, don't sing, but you could dance.
Okay, I will dance with them.
Let's talk about the food. It was so good. Most every single dish was absolutely divine. The way everything was plated, it was plated beautifully. The cookery, shall we say, was on point, and there was such variety. In addition to multiple menus, there was also a chef special each night that was like an additional meal that wasn't on the menu, so there was great selection.
How'd you like the dips?
Oh, the dippings that they brought with the bread were so good and changed every night. And I think we've talked about before. Oh, by the way, if you haven't checked out our full ship tour of Celebrity Reflection, you should definitely check that out because we talk a lot more and show you all the things on the ship. But the ice cream was good too. The selection and made on the ship.
Homemade, cruise made, I don't know what you call it, ship made. And as you said, they changed it every day. Okay, sticking with food, we've done specialty restaurants, but I think we went to the most unique one on this ship, which is La Petite Chef at Cuisine. And it's a restaurant that also marries a production animation show on your tabletop. And you'll look from the videos that we're showing you, it was really something special and was a show married to really delicious food.
Yeah. Very good.
Yes.
We would be remiss if we didn't talk about one of the most unique features on Celebrity Reflection is the real grass. And they also incorporated a separate area of real grass for a putting green.
And we've done it multiple times where no one was using it. We grabbed a putter and just kind of had fun seeing the ocean go by, and we're on real grass and putting away. It was special.
And when we felt like staying in, we did order room service a couple of times. And the couple of surprises that we had on that tray were, first of all, the tray was lined with a napkin or a couple of napkins. So it was almost like a tablecloth, if you will. So that was the first surprise. The second surprise was that the coffee, instead of coming in this little tiny carafe, it actually came in a sizable carafe, and which is great if you're a coffee drinker in the morning, especially. You want not just one little cup, you want a big carafe. And then the third surprise was that instead of plastic covers for each entree or dish, they were metal covers. So just another elevated experience for something even as simple as room service.
It is those little things, but there's something that they do similar to every other ship and cruise line we've been on. They can't get that toast right on room service, because by the time they toast it and bring it up to you, it's either a brick or soft, or it's just not toast. If you've ever had good toast at room service, drop a comment in, because we want to see if that's even possible.
And what cruise ship it was,
yes.
because we want to know. Oh, the other thing about the room I did want to mention that was a surprise was we just had an inside room, nothing special, but it was cleaned twice a day. As standard issue, apparently, on Celebrity Cruises, you get your cleaning twice a day, which they don't really do on most cruise lines anymore.
Not anymore.
And then you liked the turn down service at night.
Yes, because they gave you little chocolates. So, hey, that's a good surprise. Is there ever not a good surprise when you get chocolate?
Yeah, so those were our surprises. We hope this video was helpful. If you had any surprises on a cruise that you've been on, let us know, because we find this stuff extremely interesting and we're always looking for our next great cruise. So let us know.
Sounds good. Take care.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.